Welcome to The Root Cause, a podcast that takes a deep dive into all things manufacturing, sponsored by Mass Group.
Hey everyone, welcome to today's deep dive.
Glad to be here.
We're going to be talking about the future of manufacturing.
Exciting topic.
Yeah, and we're going to be basing it on this Forbes article called The Future of Manufacturing, Technology Trends for 2025. So we're going to be diving into all sorts of interesting insights about how software, AI, and even things like microfactories are going to transform how things are made.
The whole landscape.
Exactly. It's going to be a pretty wild ride, so buckle up.
I'm ready.
All right, so to kind of give us a roadmap,
Okay.
we're going to break this down into 4 key areas.
Right.
First, we're going to look at green software engineering.
Green software engineering. Interesting.
Yeah, and how that's making manufacturing more sustainable. Then we'll explore the role of AI, which goes beyond just robots on the factory floor.
Right. It's more than just the robots.
Exactly.
Okay.
Next up is the Internet of Things, or IoT for short,
My team, yeah.
and how it's connecting everything, but also creating new vulnerabilities.
The double-edged sword.
Exactly. And finally, we'll unpack the rise of decentralized manufacturing
Okay.
and what it means for the future of where things are made.
So where our stuff comes from.
Exactly. So a pretty packed agenda.
Yeah.
But let's dive right in, starting with this idea of green software engineering.
Okay.
A pretty new term, but it really highlights how even the software behind manufacturing processes
Right.
can be designed with sustainability in mind.
Like from the ground up, basically.
Yeah, it's not just about the factories being eco-friendly anymore.
Right. It's the whole process.
Exactly. It's the software itself.
Got it.
And the article explains how software can track real-time energy use,
Okay.
pinpoint areas to reduce waste, and even help companies shift to more sustainable cloud infrastructure.
Interesting. The cloud piece is something I'm curious about.
Yeah, it's a big one. And Accenture research suggests that moving to the public cloud
Mm-hmm.
could reduce carbon emissions as much as taking 22 million cars off the road.
Wow, 22 million cars? That's a huge number.
It's massive. It really shows how significant that shift can be.
Absolutely.
And it really highlights how seriously companies are starting to take sustainability.
Yeah, it's not just a buzzword anymore.
It's not, it's becoming a necessity, and the article even mentions Gartner's prediction
Okay.
that by 2027, almost a third of large global companies will make software sustainability a must-have.
Wow, a must-have, so not just a nice-to-have.
Not anymore, it's a core part of doing business.
Interesting. Okay, so shifting gears a bit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about AI.
Okay, AI. There was this Deloitte survey that found that 93% of manufacturers
Okay.
believe that AI is key to driving growth and innovation in their industry. But how are they actually using it?
Good question.
Is it really making a difference now, or is this something for the far-off future?
Well, that's the key point. AI is already making a difference.
Okay, so it's happening now.
It is. The article breaks it down into 3 main areas.
Okay.
Smart production, product and service enhancements, and business model decision-making.
I'm intrigued. Break those down a bit further for me.
Sure. So when it comes to smart production,
Okay.
AI is being used to streamline workflows,
Right.
improve quality control, and minimize downtime.
So it's like having a really smart assistant managing the whole production line.
You could say that.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Then for product and service enhancements, AI is being used to design better products and offer new services.
So AI isn't just making things faster and cheaper.
Right.
It's actually helping companies innovate.
Exactly. And create better products for consumers like us.
So it's not just about efficiency. It's actually about making things better.
Exactly.
That's fascinating.
And then finally, there's business model decision-making.
Okay.
This is where AI helps companies make smarter choices about how they operate.
Right.
So think of it as AI assisting with everything from optimizing supply chains to predicting future market trends.
So that's where the real strategic power of AI comes in.
Exactly. It's thinking ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So instead of reacting to breakdowns,
Right.
they can prevent them altogether,
Proactive instead of reactive.
which means less downtime, fewer delays,
Mm-hmm.
and likely lower costs in the long run.
Makes sense.
Right. So now let's move on to the next trend,
Okay.
which is the Internet of Things,
The Internet of Things. All right.
or IoT.
Right. IoT.
The article talks about how IoT is making factories smarter
Okay.
by transforming them into interconnected intelligent systems.
So everything's talking to each other.
Right, like the factory is becoming a living, breathing organism.
A smart factory.
Exactly, and the article uses Airbus as a great example.
Okay, Airbus.
They use IoT tracking to monitor critical assets during production
All right.
and create what are called digital twins.
Digital twins, now what are
Hold
those?
on, I'm going to explain that. Think of it as a virtual replica of a physical asset.
Okay.
So in Airbus's case, it allows them to track the progress and condition of parts
Okay.
in real time,
Oh, wow.
even across different
So
locations.
they can see everything that's happening.
Yeah, imagine having like a virtual X-ray vision
Right. See inside the factory.
that lets you see inside every machine and component
Interesting.
and know exactly what's happening at any given moment.
So it's all about visibility.
It is, and that's incredibly valuable for a company like Airbus,
Yeah, I bet.
which has production facilities spread across multiple countries,
Makes sense.
and is becoming increasingly common.
Is it?
The article says that 67% of industrial manufacturers are in the process of creating these digital factories.
Wow, that's a majority.
Yeah, so connecting everything in the factory definitely makes things smarter,
Right.
but I imagine it also opens up new vulnerabilities.
Yeah, that's the other side of the coin.
The more connected a system is,
Mm-hmm.
the more potential entry points there are for hackers.
Yeah.
Exactly, a bigger target.
And with so much data flowing between devices,
Right.
the stakes are incredibly high.
Absolutely. You're talking about critical systems.
So it's a double-edged sword. You gain all this amazing efficiency and intelligence,
Yeah.
but you also increase your vulnerability to attacks.
Right. A new kind of risk.
And the article really emphasizes the point
Okay.
that cybersecurity becomes even more critical
Makes sense.
in a hyper-connected manufacturing environment.
So it's not just about connecting things, you have to secure them too.
Exactly. A successful cyber attack could disrupt production,
Right.
compromise sensitive data,
Big problem.
and potentially even cause physical damage.
Oh, wow. That's serious.
It is. So companies need to be very aware of this trade-off
Yeah.
and invest in robust cybersecurity measures to protect themselves.
So it's a new challenge for manufacturers.
It is. It's not just about making things anymore. It's about protecting them too.
Absolutely.
So this interconnectedness is definitely a key theme in the future of manufacturing.
Not just within factories,
Mm-hmm.
but also across entire supply chains.
Okay, the whole network.
And speaking of supply chains, that brings us to our final topic for this section,
All right, what's that?
decentralized manufacturing.
Decentralized manufacturing. Now that's interesting.
It is. It's gaining traction due to rising costs,
Okay.
geopolitical uncertainty, and the growing focus on sustainability.
So a lot of factors are driving this.
They are, and we're seeing a shift away from relying on a few massive factories
Right, the traditional model.
towards spreading production across multiple smaller locations.
So more distributed.
Exactly, and this is where microfactories come into play.
Microfactories, I've heard that term.
Yeah, these are smaller, highly adaptable production units
Okay.
that can be placed closer to customers.
So instead of these huge factories, you have smaller ones closer to where people live.
Right. Imagine an electric vehicle manufacturer setting up microfactories in major cities
Okay.
to build cars right where the demand is.
Right, so you're cutting down on transportation
Exactly, and emissions.
and potentially even lead times.
It's all about agility and responsiveness.
Interesting, a different way of thinking about things.
And these microfactories are often powered by advanced technologies,
Like what?
like 3D printing and robotics,
Oh, wow, so they're high-tech.
allowing them to produce a wider variety of products in smaller batches.
So it's not mass production anymore?
Not in the same way, it's much more flexible.
Okay, so what are the challenges?
Well, there are definitely challenges.
Like what?
Coordinating multiple production sites can be complex.
Yeah, I bet.
And there's the issue of balancing standardization with local customization.
So making sure things are consistent, but also tailored to specific needs.
Exactly. Companies need to ensure consistent quality across all their factories,
Right.
while still being able to tailor products to specific regions or customer needs.
That's a tough balance.
It is. It's a delicate balancing act.
But it sounds like the potential benefits are huge.
They are. Decentralized manufacturing with microfactories closer to customers
Yeah.
could lead to faster delivery, more personalized products,
Mm-hmm.
and more resilient supply chains that are less vulnerable to global disruptions.
So it's about more than just efficiency.
It is. It's about creating a more responsive and sustainable manufacturing ecosystem.
That's a powerful vision.
It is. This deep dive has been incredible. We've covered sustainability and software engineering AI-powered factories. And now a future where manufacturing could be happening in microfactories all over the world.
Yeah.
What do you think is the most important thing we've learned from all of this?
For me, it's how fast innovation is happening in manufacturing. It's not just about making things a little bit better. It's about completely changing how we think about making things. And it's happening so fast. Like we're seeing a fundamental shift in how we produce goods.
Totally agree. It's inspiring to see how technology is being used to create more efficient, sustainable, and resilient ways of manufacturing. And it makes you wonder what's next. Where do we go from here?
Right. That's the big question.
Okay.
The article talks about how companies need to be innovative, but I think it's important to go further than that. It's not just companies, it's people too.
What do you mean? How do individuals fit into this world of robots and smart factories?
All these advancements are creating new opportunities and new challenges, and the skills that people need today might not be useful tomorrow. So it's not enough for companies to innovate. Individuals need to be open to learning new things and adapting too.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
It's really opened my eyes, to how technology is changing the whole manufacturing industry.
And it's not just changing the industry, it's changing everything around us. Like we were talking about, it's not just the technology itself, it's how we change and adapt along with it.
Right. The article said that companies have to be innovative. But you said something really smart about how individuals need to be innovative too. Like, what does that even mean? How can we stay ahead of things when the world's changing so fast?
I think it starts with how we think. We can't keep thinking that education's over once you finish school or college, the future. It belongs to people who never stop learning, people who are always looking for new knowledge and skills, people who are okay with change, and people who are willing to try new things, even if it's scary.
I like that. So to everyone listening, we're not just giving you a bunch of cool facts about robots and smart factories. We're asking you to think about how you can be innovative too, and how you can become a lifelong learner. Like no matter what you do, whether you're an engineer, a designer, a student, or just someone who's curious about the world, you have a part to play in shaping the future.
We've just scratched the surface of this topic. It's really complex and changing all the time. But hopefully we've made you curious and given you some things to think about. The future of manufacturing. It's full of possibilities, and it's exciting to see what amazing innovations will come next.
Totally. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the future of how things are made. We hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep being innovative.